What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. NBA Game Time official show here. I'm your host, Jay Money. We got our guy co-host today, man. My brother ChrisBeCappin here from YouTube, man. He's a YouTube channel. He has a Twitter, man. Y'all go check him out. Make sure you follow him at ChrisBeCappin. Two P's, two N's. See what I'm saying? What's up with you, Chris? Everything cool with you?
My God, yes, sir. Jay, appreciate you having me on the show as always, man. We got a nice little card, man. It's always straight to business when we get here. So let's see if we can find some spots that we like, Jay, and try to attack them. Try to attack them, man. Get the people some money with us.
Facts. Yeah, and the games don't start. They start in about an hour as well. So that's why we like doing this Game Time NBA official show. That way, it's we have the most info throughout the day. I know on my play today on the Heat, we got some interesting news on that one as well. So can't wait to talk about that one. It's all business on the show here, Chris. We got like about 8 games. So let's go ahead and go through it here, man. First game up, we went to the streets of Washington D.C. here, where we have the Wizards laying a point here at the house versus the New York Knicks. This line opened up at Wizards laying 2. Then the Bradley Beal kind of questionable. It went since flipped to the Knicks -2. Now it's back to Wizards -1 with Beal going to be playing in this one, Chris. What do you think? Do you think that the Wizards have a strong chance of winning this one, or can the Knicks keep their hot play up with Josh Hart and company over there?
I think they can, Jay. I think the Wizards could win this game. I also feel like the Knicks, who underrated so far this season, Jay. The Knicks been balling, man. We never thought that a Tom Thibodeau led New York Knicks team would look like this, but getting Jalen Brunson there, somebody that's a true point guard that's able to facilitate that offense, and I think he just helps them so much, down the stretch, Jay. Like he really comes in and kind of dictates that offense. Of course, we got Mitchell Robinson news that we kind of waiting on as well.
Mhm.
This one kind of feel like a toss up, Jay, because the Wizards have been balling. I was reading into the beat writers earlier, and it was something like the last 2 months, this team is top 10 in offensive, defensive, and overall rating over the last 2 months. So I could kind of see it be a toss up, Jay. To me, if I was looking at this game, I think I look more at the total. And I think this one could go, I think it could go over, Jay. I know it was at 224.5 when I looked at it. I think a little bit of money come in and it shot up just a tad bit. You look at the Knicks when they are dogs now. They're 8-2 to the over when they're a dog, and the total is 225 or lower. Also 6-1 to the over when they're revenging same season losses when they're on the road as well. And I know you probably remember this, Jay. A couple weeks ago when Bradley Beal came back, his first game was actually in the Garden when they went into the
Mhm.
Garden and won that. That's when the Knicks
Mhm.
went 5-0. Not the Knicks, the Wizards went 5-0 straight up and against the spread to start that road trip with Bradley Beal being back. You look at the Wizards, 8-3-1 to the over as well, Jay, when they're playing a team they've beaten already this season. And if they're at home in that spot, they're 4-1 to the over. So I didn't play it, but just kind of providing some information for people who may have been looking, towards the over in this game.
Yeah, and this is somewhat of a low total as well for today's basketball games, man. We usually see totals in from the 230s all the way up to 240s now. I know it's some unders are starting to come back through, but we know the Wizards, they can push the pace. Kuzma, Porzingis, they like to score points out there. Beal in there as well. So I know that they were playing some somewhat good defense, but I still feel like the Wizards are a team that try to beat you with their offense, in my opinion. Whereas the Knicks, I can say a little bit lately. Now the offense has got a lot more fluent since Josh Hart over there. They were playing some good defense. That was the reason why they were playing really well in their last few games before the All-Star break as well. I believe they were 4-2 against the spread in their last 6. Yeah, no, so they were 4-1-1 ATS in their last 6 games. So I think it was being balanced offensively and defensively, in my opinion. Like I say, the road teams are 5-0 against the spread last 5 meetings, Chris. Like you said, Wizards covered the last one in New York. Now it's the Knicks' turn to go get one in the Wizards in Washington, in my opinion, here, man. So Knicks also 5-1 ATS last 6 meetings in Washington as well, my guys. So Knicks somewhat being road warriors here. I think the Knicks could get the job done in this one. I'm leaning Knicks +1. I did sprinkle a little bit some on Knicks +2 last night, guys. So I do need the Knicks in this game. It is a smaller place, not the best bet of the day, but I do think the Knicks are the right side in this game. I'll take them +1 for the show in this one, guys. Chris, let's go ahead over here to the streets of Atlanta here, where we have the Hawks laying a point here at the house versus the Cavs, right? Fire coach angle. This is the first game with them not having McMillan. I can't sense the team being a little bit happy. I know one thing that sometimes I like to blindly take the fire coach angle, but I don't take it every single time, right? But I must say I'm not going against it, Chris. How you looking at this game?
Hey, I'm with you, Jay. I don't want to go against it either, and I don't want to fade this Cavs team, Jay. That I feel
Facts.
like been playing some really good basketball as well. They probably a little frustrated. They're probably feeling like they let one slide last night. Couldn't stop the Denver Nuggets from being able to score the ball. Everybody that had a Denver jersey on was just hitting 3-pointer after 3-pointer. I think KCP went 4 for 4. KPJ went 6 for 10. Michael Porter Jr. I'm sorry. Michael Porter Jr. went 6 for 10 yesterday. I mean, threes were everywhere, and we know that this Atlanta team could do the same thing, Jay. Typically, they play a lot better offense on the road, and they play better defense at home. But we can't quantify it though, Jay. Like you can't, go find a stat that says here's how teams kind of, bounce back. So shout out to you, kudos to you, Jay, because I know you've been talking about that for years now. That fire coach angle, but that's not something you can just go find, right? Another thing, Jay, I think we talked about this on your show as well, and I can't quantify this. I mean, I can, but I don't have it right in front of me. Atlanta turns up at the crib on Fridays, Jay, and today it just happens to be Friday, right? So while I do want to, I do kind of want to take Atlanta in the spot. I didn't get there with them, Jay. One thing I will say, and I don't think it's completely a trend that I just want to blindly tell, but I looked at road dogs, Jay, coming off a previous home loss on the second leg of a back-to-back. This season, 1-19 straight up, Jay. 6-14 on the road, losing by an average of 16 points. So to me, that trend says, to take Atlanta. I just don't want to fade Cleveland because they are coming off a loss, and I do feel like they're a better team. But, given your angle like you talked about, Jay, I was trying to find a way to take Atlanta in this spot. I didn't feel confident enough, playing it.
No, that's a fact right there. So to say they are 9-4 ATS in their last 13 Friday games. So, and I'll tell you, I'll give you a little secret as well. Atlanta, they have a barbershop inside the what's called, and they basically have like a little club as well. The whole arena is basically turns into a club on Fridays and Saturdays, but I believe they do have a club in the arena as well. But I know they have a barbershop and things like that. So they do things a little different over in Atlanta, man. This is a turn-up spot. I'll be perfectly honest with you, man. The Cavs are the better team. Now, Chris, I was expecting the Cavs to be coming off a win here. I had already kept this card like on Tuesday. So I had the Hawks here circled, and I was like, this is a revenge spot. They lost November 21st. All this 4-1 straight up in ATS last 5 games. Then they fired the coach. I'm like, okay, we like it even more. But I needed the Cavs to win yesterday. They end up losing. Might come out here pissed off, Chris, and the Cavs have a game up under their belt already as well. So what do we see yesterday? Some of these teams came out super rusty, still kind of in vacation mode. Still, even Tatum said, like, I don't know, maybe I was still a little drunk as well, man. So Cavs do have the advantage early, in my opinion, but I'm not betting against the Hawks here full game. I lean Hawks here -1, and I also lean their team total over as well. Obviously, it's a back-to-back home road back-to-back for the Cavs. So while they are great on defense, they could still possibly run out of gas here in the second half of this game here. So I still lean Hawks full game -1, and I lean their team total over as well. But I must say I didn't bet anything in this game, my guys. Chris, what you think about that Hawks team total over? You think because I think they'll have juice that in the ticket of team total over, they don't even have to win the game. You just need them to come out.
I would agree. I think that's why you see the total go up too, right? I think it opened at like 225.5. It's up to 228, right? And we know that the Cavs don't score as many points on the road as they do at home. They typically score a lot more, at home than they do on the road. So, if they can't contain Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, or, they struggle to score themselves offensively, which the Cavs do, especially when they're on the road, Jay. It could get out of hand for them, man. Atlanta could really turn up on them. And if, like you said, if you take that team total, what we always talk about with team totals, you don't worry about the spread. They could hit in the fourth quarter, at the beginning, at the end, and overtime. It don't matter. You win your bet, no matter who wins and who loses. So I couldn't talk you off of that team total going over, Jay.
Yeah, that's the way I would take it. If you want to go with the Hawks, with them being hyped up, they will be hyped up here, guys, with them firing the coach over there. They couldn't wait to get McMillan out of there. So I could see a little extra juice out of the guys in this one, man. And the Cavs have not been great on the road as well. 3-8 against the spread. That's second worst in the NBA as a road underdog. So we love the Cavs at the house. They are a little bit susceptible to some offensive droughts on the road in this one, man. So I still lean Hawks -1 for the full game, and I definitely like that team total over. over, guys. I must say I didn't bet it, but I really think that's a strong look, and that's what we're here to bring you the sports betting advice. Even if it's not something that we end up betting, we're here to tell you what we think is going to cash, my guys. Let's head over here to the next game, guys. We got the Milwaukee Bucks here. We're going to the streets of Milwaukee here, Chris. We got the Bucks laying 5.5 at some spots here versus the Miami Heat. This line was at 2, like 1.5, 2 last night. I did take the Heat, guys. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I took the Heat plus the 2. Man, I might hop on them. I like them, man. I like them. I think the Heat win this game with or without Giannis. It looks like Giannis might play. I don't think it matters here. I think this might be a little bit, well, I would say injury report manipulation, but whether Giannis plays or not here, Chris, I think the Heat win this game regardless. Last thing I'll say, Bucks, when you win 12 straight games right before the break, 8 or 9 day break, that break is going to mess up your hot streak. It's really hard to come back in after that long break and then continue that win streak like nothing ever happened. I trust the Heat here defensively and getting to the paint in this one. I like the Heat here plus the 5, Chris.
Jay, I couldn't talk you off, man. I would be looking that way, especially now with Giannis being upgraded to, I don't know, is he officially in, Jay, or is it just questionable or probable?
Everybody saw him warming up. They say he's game time decision. I don't know. I saw a few of them shots coming up short. I do think it's his right wrist as well. I think they lose the game regardless. It's just what, and I'll be honest, perfectly, like if a guy is, I know I hate the load management. I hate it when it's just simply rest. When the guy really has an injury, that's probably when you should rest him. But who knows? They're probably not going to. I don't think it cares. I think you wait till last second, take the Heat plus the points.
I agree with that, Jay. And I think so. So looking at this game for me, Jay, we know one thing about Miami: when they're on the road, that's when their defense typically really comes to play. We saw them go in Cleveland and beat Cleveland. We saw them go into and they went into Milwaukee and beat the Bucks as well. Like you said, they play well against this team. I think I don't really want to play the side at all, Jay. I think the prop that kind of correlates with what you're saying and kind of gets us on the same page. I'd be looking at Giannis to go under his points, rebounds, and assists. I think, you talk about the wrist, right? It's on his shooting wrist, right? He right-handed. If he does play, he might not be as efficient. We know that one thing about Miami is they know how to build that wall, right? Miami, they built that wall, plenty of times before. I give it to them, and I give it to Toronto. Being able to build that wall and make a guy like Giannis a distributor, make him do something else besides be able to score the ball. His points, rebounds, and assists, Jay, typically sitting at about 51, 52, 53 and a half. This is a low-scoring game, so it's probably on the latter end of that. Probably not as high, but I'd be looking towards that, Jay. I think in this spot because also on the Bucks side, you get Bobby Portis back. He's going to be, they got a clean injury report. Like everybody else is pretty much in. So that's the way I'd be looking, Jay. I'd be looking at Giannis to go under his points, rebounds, and assists. That way, if he does something well. His points probably, a tad bit too high in a spot like this, especially in a game where he might not, even if he starts there, and I'm not trying to wish anything bad on him, but if he starts, he might not finish the game.
That's a fact right there. Yeah, another good sneaky look. So Jay Crowder and Bobby Portis are going to play in this game. Both those two players. When the last time we seen Crowder play? What are we doing here?
Because years, Jay.
Because I'm finna be rusty, boy. So they did meet down in Miami. I saw some footage of Crowder and Bobby Portis down there playing a pickup game in Miami over the break. But there's no defense played in those type of games. Obviously, these guys aren't trying to get hurt. So with some defense against them, a couple of props might be, or Jay Crowder might be excited to get back. But I know Portis for sure coming back off that injury. I think Portis might go under his props as well, but that's a really good look with Giannis under his props there. Even if he does play, he probably will be deferring to his other players. They'll be trying to get Portis and Jay Crowder back into form in this one, man. Like I say, I like the Heat here plus the 5. If you have bet MGM, it's at 5.5. If Giannis does play, it might even go up to 6, in my opinion, in this one. But I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think it matters. I like the Heat here plus the 5, plus the 5.5. If you got MGM, go get that 5.5. But I couldn't talk you off the plus 5 as well. Heat also coming in here full squad, and they just bolstered their bench as well when it comes to a few big men. One shooting big man in Kevin Love, and then Cody Zeller as well. I'm not a big fan of Zeller, but they just need big bodies down there. They already traded away Dedmon. They didn't have a backup center. You could argue Bam Adebayo is a short center, like at 6'9". So the Heat added some depth there. I think that the Heat have to try to get it like in a playoff mode, in my opinion. I think they're going here in the Milwaukee, still a win. Give me the Heat to burn this team, burn them Bucks up. They finna set their antlers on fire tonight. Heat plus the 5 in this one, guys. I like it. That's the best bet of the day. I'm not going away from my shit, man. Let's go over. I ain't worried about no damn.
Yo, Jay.
Let's go over here to the streets of Minnesota here, man. We got the Wolves laying 6.5 points at the house versus the Hornets here, Chris. We have a tanking team versus a team that's going to for the playoff push here, right? I don't agree with this coming down from 8 to 6.5. I'm starting to get super close to laying the points with the Wolves here. Definitely want to throw them in the money line parlay. The Hornets on the first game of a back-to-back as well. They travel home tomorrow and play the Heat. I don't even think the Hornets want to win games right now. It's simple. There will be one of the bottom 4 teams in the league when it comes to tanking for Victor. I think the Wolves should get it done here, Chris.
Hey Jay, I don't know why it came down, but I'm happy that it came down because I'm really close with you laying that 6.5 with the Timberwolves. If I can get a better line, then I'm willing to take it, man. I think the Timberwolves the right side, in this game, Jay. But more so than that, I looked at the total, Jay. It's actually my favorite play of the day, man. Total at 241, Jay. Way too many points. One thing about the Hornets, Jay, when they go on the road, especially with a total of 240 or higher, they don't do their part in scoring that many points, right? So I'm gonna break it down, Jay, real quick. Timberwolves 6-1-1 to the under in their last 8 home games, 7-2 to the under in home games with a total of 235 or higher, including 6 straight unders, with 2 of those games actually going to overtime. So they had 2 games go to overtime and still went under the total in their last 5 games. On the opposite side, you look at the Hornets, 9-3 to the under, Jay, in their road games with a total of 235 points or higher. 8 of those 11 games, Jay, they failed to cover their team total. So, 8 for 11, a really good percentage right there. Also, 6-3 to the under when the total was 240 or higher. This total was 241 when I played it earlier. 6 times they've gone under that team total when it's 240 or higher. 6-3 to the under, Jay, are the Hornets on the first leg of a back-to-back because you kind of got to save some because you got another game you got to travel for the following day. So 6-3 to the under on the first leg of a back-to-back. 6 times they failed to hit their team total in that spot as well. And they're 7-1 to the under when they're a road dog of 6.5 points or more. So for all of those reasons, Jay, I like the under in this game. And then 2 quick league-wide trends as well. Teams playing on the first leg of a back-to-back, Jay, that are involved in a total that's 240 points or more this season, 12-3 to the under, Jay, 80%.
Damn.
Just say take the under. And then totals of, last one, Jay, totals of 240 points or higher since January the 23rd. Because now we're starting to see teams actually play a little bit of, start to care and play a little bit of defense. So in the last month, totals of 240 or higher are 17-3 to the under, 85%. Damn. If you include last night's game between the Thunder and the Jazz, Jay. So I played the under in this game, 241. I think the Thunder gonna play defense. They got Rudy Gobert in. They're gonna play with pace, and I think the Charlotte Hornets just don't have a team that's going to be able to score 120 points. I think their projected total is like 118, 119 and a half. So, and I also lean the T-Wolves with you as well, Jay. I saw it come down at 5.5 on one book earlier. The Hornets, 1-8, Jay, straight up, 2-7 against the spread on the first leg of a back-to-back, including 4 straight losses and non-covers. If you add that they're on the road in the first leg of a back-to-back, they're 0-7 straight up, 1-6 against the spread, 5-2 to the under. So for all of those reasons, I lean towards the Timberwolves to cover this game. I might actually get there, and I already played the under the 240, and the total's coming back down, under 241 and a half, the total coming back down a little bit now.
That's a damn good stat, man, with that with the 18-3 unders at 240, and that's a high ass total. I know it's a new age NBA. I know these teams are running. I mean, people get mad at the All-Star game not playing any defense. Night to night, they're not playing any defense, man. You got games going to 250 and more. You see what I'm saying? So I like the fact that the defense is coming back in these because I feel like 240 is a high ass total, man. But shout out to my guy Noli Knows in the chat, man, making unders great again. He came in right when you talking about this under, Chris. You know this shit's cashing. And to be honest with you, I don't think Hornets get to 117 points with their team total. I don't see it. You mentioned Rudy Gobert. Now, first off, the Hornets, they're coming back in. The Hornets, when you're one of the worst teams in the NBA, what are you going to do on break? You're going on vacation and you're going to party pretty hard. You see what I'm saying? These guys are millionaires. It was a bank. This was a break in the schedule. They're not going to do much. If LaMelo Ball and Rozier aren't hitting their threes, guys like Hayward as well, this team might get blown out by 20 points tonight. They might not make it past 110. It's going to be super tough to get points in the paint as well. They already traded away Plumlee. They're going to get Oubre back tonight. He's going to be chunking up threes. I wish I could take I might take Oubre under made threes in this one because he's probably going to be super rusty in this one as well, man. So the Hornets, what do they do? Chunk up a bunch of threes. If they're not making them, they probably won't touch 110 points in this one. This could be like a 125 to 110 type of game. That's exactly how I see it. So I'd lean to the Timberwolves -6.5 on the point spread. I also lean towards the under with you, Chris, and the Hornets team total under. Thunder. They could be a nice little kind of sort of trifecta spot of way of attacking that game. I see all three of those out, my guys. I see all three of those getting that cash, man. A few more games here, Chris. Let's get to it, man. We go to the streets of Phoenix here. We have the Suns laying 8 points at the house versus the Thunder, Chris. Now, SGA did play 41 minutes last night. He did get downgraded to questionable. I feel like the Thunder are somewhat tipping their cap, in my opinion. Now, the Thunder can still ball, even without SGA. They still have ballers. Giddey, Lou Dort, I'm saying, both of the Jalen Williams out there, so they can ball, but I don't like this back-to-back spot. When it went into overtime, they made this even a much more worse spot for the Thunder. You already have to travel, roll back-to-back, coming off the break as well, and altitude, and overtime, and a 1 point loss where you had I'm still pissed about that, to be honest with you, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't bet against the Suns tonight, Chris.
I'm with you, Jay. The only other end that I'm gonna throw in that you didn't mention was they suck at rebounding, because that's the reason why they lost the game. I know you was probably watching it last night, as was I, Jay, because I was on the Thunder. Luckily, I cashed at a +2. But they did everything they possibly could have last night in Utah to lose that game, Jay. Like, fourth quarter was just, it was bad, man. It was bad. You got Kelly Olynyk out there getting rebounds, and Lauri Markkanen going baseline and dunking on people, and it was bad. OKC did everything they possibly can. I think, just looking into this game a little bit more, Jay, I watched that game pretty much from start to finish yesterday. SGA got beat up last night. He got beat up. I think he shot a career high in free throws yesterday. And it's not one injury. I forgot what the injury is, Jay, but it's not just one.
Ankle.
He's actually dealing with two. We know when guys get downgraded in the middle of the day from whatever their status is to whatever, whether it's probable to questionable or whatever the case might be, typically that's the indication that they're not going to play. We don't know for sure, but, it wouldn't really surprise me. And I think that's why you see the line go up, and that's why you see the total come down in this one as well. I think the total was up to like 232. It's down to like 227, 228 or something like that right now. But you look at this. Look, this is the way I looked at it, Jay. Suns 5-0 straight up, 4-1 against the spread when they're a home favorite, and they're playing the team that's on the second leg of a back-to-back. They're winning those games by average of 17 points. They're 3-0 straight up and against the spread as a home favorite versus a losing team that's playing on the second leg of a back-to-back as well. And then you look at the Thunder; they are one of the more profitable teams. Well, not one of. They are the most profitable team as a road dog this season, but this just ain't shaping up to be a good spot for them, especially when you got Chris Paul on the opposite side, and you got another team that can rebound the ball, Jay. I talked about it in the intro, but you look at the Phoenix Suns, they're the 11th best rebounding team in the league. If you couldn't get a rebound last night on the first leg of the back-to-back before going to overtime against the Utah Jazz, best of luck trying to get it against a guy like, guys like Ayton and Knight. I think Phoenix actually, does what they want to do to this team. One more league-wide trend I looked up, Jay. Since 2015, teams that are road dogs of 8 points or more coming off an overtime game, and they're playing on the second night of a back-to-back in different gyms, 0-6 straight up, 0-5-1 against the spread, Jay. So that's a six, a nice little trend to kind of support the Suns in this one. I do think, Jay, that if the Thunder gonna be able to keep it close in this one, it's gonna be early, because typically you want to fade teams on the second night of a back-to-back, especially when they're coming off an overtime game, in the second half. So even if this one's close at halftime, I think you could live bet the Suns in this one to get the job done, because they should be able to, put the Thunder away in this spot. But if SGA get ruled out, this spread's gonna go up, probably up to 9, 9.5. It's probably gonna keep going. So maybe something you just want to kind of take live, especially not knowing the status of SGA, because they're gonna BS this day. He probably gonna go through shoot around, and we're gonna get an update that's just gonna say game time decision. Like, we know all that already. So that's the way I would probably look at it. Just kind of, trying to find a way to play it, even with the manipulation of the injury report, Jay.
Man, I'll tell you this right now. If the Thunder are starting to sit SGA, that tells me that they don't care about making a playoff. So that's for something long-term right there. But for this game, I'm only looking towards the Suns in this game. I'll give you a little info. It's not really inside info, but I'll give like inside team info. If there was, like, we're going inside the locker room here to the Suns, just looking at the mindset of the players. They have KD. He's been practicing with the team. He's not playing tonight, guys, but he's super close. This is what guys like Ayton says. And you have to listen to Ayton, because he's going to tell you exactly how it is. is. He's going to tell you when the team is not believing in themselves, or they're not connected, or he's also going to tell you when they're like in go mode. And Aiden says there's like a sense of urgency for around the whole team, every player, and it makes sense as well. You get Kevin Durant over there, one of the top 3, top 5 players in the league right now, especially offensively. You want to up your game. Now you're in the weight room more. Now you staying late, coming early to practice. So I'm saying, you know that you got to be better yourself. You got to be ready when he comes back. The Suns team is really trying to make a push in the playoff. They're really trying to win a championship, and we don't know if they're going to do it or not, but we're just talking here some mindset. And I really like what Aiden says. He says guys are really coming in to practice now. There's no smiling and no joking around anymore. I love to hear that, man, because that's how I am when I'm serious. There's no, it's not fun in games here. It's all business, man. So I wouldn't be fading the Suns right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe first game back, first few games with KD in there, but right now, just the mindset of the team, overall team morale, it's a step up type of time right now for the Suns, and I think it could show tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if they hammered the Thunder in this game. If SGA sits, I feel like the team kind of knows, like, all right, we're going to win the games that are winnable, but versus these top tier teams, I know that this game is on national TV, but like I say, the fact that SGA is even questionable here tells us everything, and they could be in for a huge letdown. They basically had that game won yesterday, and we know that they don't have a ton of inside paint presence as well, so they can play some really good perimeter defense. They can play some good offense, but when it comes to defend the paint and rebounding, that's where they can get smashed. I think the Suns have their way with them tonight. I didn't lay the 8 with them, but I do think it's the right side in this one, Chris.
And Jay,
game,
real quick,
go ahead.
just a prop, Jay, to kind of correlate with that. One, we looking at CP3, his assists, right? 9.5. Dude been crushing the line all year long. You look at OKC, they're right in the middle, about 15th this season, Jay, in opponent assists per game. But over the last 7 games, OKC actually allowing the 6th most assists to point guards. And we know Chris Paul, one of the greatest passers, not just in the game today, but in general, in the history of the NBA. So OKC gonna push the pace, and Chris Paul gonna slow it down. But I do think that he probably goes over his assist prop as well for people, looking at a prop, and to go along with this game that correlates with what me and you talking about, Jay. Also, Aiden, Jay, you just kind of talked about it. They have
Rebounds.
nobody that can guard Aiden. His rebounds
Yeah.
and his points. I will probably put them together because he probably gonna be the guy that gonna go off. One thing that they do, Jay, I'm pretty sure you've seen this before. When they play against a really, really big guy that they know they can't stop, somebody like Embiid, they typically like to double, right? You can't do that with Aiden, though, because Aiden got all of the little moves from the free throw line. He can hit the jumper. He can go by you real quick. So I don't think that they double team him. I think they probably try to play him one-on-one with like Kendricks, and he probably destroyed Kendricks tonight, especially on the second leg of a back-to-back. So those are 2 props I'll be looking at, probably his points plus rebounds, and definitely Chris Paul assists to go over the 9.5 number, Jay.
Oh yeah, Kendrick he'll get smashed. Like that guy is like a small forward, bro. Like, what are we doing to start playing him at center, man? Yeah, Aiden probably goes bunkers in this one, that's for sure. And we know that the Thunder are probably gonna run out of gas in the 4th quarter in this one as well, man. Coming from that overtime game in Utah in this one, man. Say over here to the streets of Golden State here, Chris. I don't have much on this game, but I do have a sneaky prop that I was thinking about playing in this one. That's KJ Martin, Kenyon Martin Jr. in this one. He just came off getting embarrassed in the slam dunk contest. You could just tell that it didn't go the way that he planned it or whatever. And tonight, I know the last time they faced off, the Rockets only had 101 points. They still had KPJ and Jalen Green, which I don't think neither one of those ball hogs are in there tonight. So you're going to have a lot more scoring spread out, right? KJ Martin had 13 points and 7 rebounds the last time around. This time his points prop is at 15 and a half. And his points and rebounds is at 22 and a half as well. So that just would be a sneaky look in this game where I feel like mindset, that's something that probably nobody's looking at, but I do think KJ Martin might have like somewhat like a bounce back game in his first game back. And we know the Warriors off a back-to-back as well. I just feel like that's a sneaky prop play. How are you looking at this game?
Yeah, Jay, I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, this is the question I asked myself, Jay. We got the Warriors on the second leg of a back-to-back. It's a road home back-to-back without Steph, without Wiggins, and they still laying 10 points. So how bad are the Rockets, Jay? Like, they are really, really bad to be laying, to be catching 10 points in this spot when they're the more rested team, not on the second leg of a back-to-back. But all that aside, Jay, I think that I'm not laying 10 with the Warriors in this spot. I'm definitely not doing that. If they were to be able to get the job done, I don't think it'd surprise me much, Jay. But I'm not doing it. Not without Steph, not without Wiggins, who is also going to continue to miss this game with some personal issues. One thing I looked at, Jay, was in the 2 games, because you mentioned Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. being out. In 2 games this season that those two guys didn't play for the Rockets, the Rockets are actually allowing both of their opponents combined to shoot about 49% from the field and 40% from three. We know, the Warriors are on the second leg of a back-to-back, but none of their starters play heavy minutes. We saw Steve Kerr was out there waving that white flag early in the fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
when the Lakers were up by like 16, 17 points last night. I think all that kind of correlates to taking a guy like Jordan Poole. I think the pool could be open tonight, Jay. I think this is a primetime Jordan Poole spot. I would look at his points plus assists. I talked about it earlier. I think it's about 32.5. Because one thing I look at, Jay, when first of all, they have nobody that can stop a guard on this team at all. We saw SGA right before the break just give this same Houston Rocket team whatever it is that he wanted. He actually did it twice, and they won by 40 in both games, pretty much. So I think Jordan Poole bounces back. He had a terrible game last night. If he's the head of the snake without Steph Curry being there, Jay. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if they're gonna win this game, it's gonna be because he has a major contribution. So I mean, it's really just him and Clay when you think about offense for this team. So I expect both of those guys to go bonkers. One of them probably going for 40 points, and if it was Jordan Poole, it wouldn't really surprise me if he got his points and assists just based off points. So I'd be looking at Jordan Poole points plus assists in this one, Jay. 32.5, 33.5, I think the number is.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off there. Yeah, Poole really could do whatever the hell he wants. I mean, the Rockets, they're not trying to play defense. This might be like a pickup type of game. I just kind of thought of something here. Our guy Sean Murphy in the chat said he like Warriors first quarter, first half. It's probably not a bad look because look at this. The Warriors already had the game to shake off the rust, right? And it was a loss. So they want to come back home and bounce back. They're going up against a bad defense in the Rockets team who's Shingun. He's not going to give you a whole lot of paint protection. A lot of, you can get whatever you want up against him. So I just feel like what if the Warriors came out here in this first quarter? I know it's threes and 3.5s out there. I just feel like if you could find that three in the first quarter with the Warriors, I don't see that how they don't come out here in the first quarter and cover that. What do we talk about as well? Rockets team, the bad teams, the bottom 4 teams in the league that are tanking, they know they're not going to the playoffs. They just basically collecting checks. They're going to real vacation, Mexico, wherever. They going to Dubai. They going to chill,
1, 2, 3
drink, all
Cancun,
that.
Jay.
Yeah, so they having some fun on the break, really going on vacation, right? They couldn't wait to go to vacation. I just feel like the Rockets, who also like to shoot a ton of threes, might come out here really rusty in this first quarter. So I would give a lean to the Warriors in the first quarter. Wouldn't be surprised if they got it done first half as well. And then if the Rockets are to cover, then maybe they'll try to come back with some once like in this, their spot would be in the second half in the fourth quarter where they have a rest advantage. Say if the Warriors up 15, I wouldn't necessarily trust the Warriors to win this game to cover this cover game if they were up 15 going to the fourth quarter. So I do lean Warriors first quarter minus the 3 in that one, and also lean KJ Martin over his points 15.5 and points and rebounds at 22.5 in that one, my guys. Couple more games here, then we're gonna get out of here, Chris. Bulls versus Nets, and this one I don't have much, man. I do think the Bulls are a fade in the second half of the season. They might have a little shot of energy tonight with Patrick Beverley. I don't think long term it'll have anything it'll be great for them, but at least for one game it actually might be good for the Bulls having at least another guard that can pass the ball, play some defense as well, and we know he can kind of rub off on the rest of the team. The rest of the team might feel like playing some defense as well. So how you looking at this Bulls versus Nets spot, my guy?
I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet, Jay. Not two teams that I don't really want to back, especially not Chicago.
Facts.
You talked about them, Jay. I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but 6-0-6 straight up and against the spread going into the All-Star break. They do get DeRozan back, and you talked about Patrick Beverley making his he's playing for his hometown team, so I think that only brings more defense. You do looking at it from a totals perspective, Jay. I think it opened at 225, and you see the money come in on the under, and I would agree with that. You look at the Bulls; they are. First of all, just looking at Brooklyn, since the Kyrie trade, Jay, they're playing at the 7th slowest pace since the Kyrie trade. The Brooklyn Nets are. Chicago, bottom half of the league as well in pace in the last 7 games as well. You look at Chicago, last in offensive rating over the last 7 games, first in defensive rating over the last 7 games. 9-2 to the under in conference games when they're a home favorite. Typically, they win it with their defense, and typically it's only about 212 points being scored in those games, Jay. 7-2 to the under, revenge of same season losses, because these two teams did just play, and the Brooklyn Nets did just beat them not too long ago. Adding Patrick Beverley only going to help the game go under because he can't shoot, but he gonna stop your best shooter as well, especially being a guard. So I would look towards the under. I think there's still some meat on the bone, Jay. Even with it being at 225, 222, I see this game as a rock fight. I think it's going to be, first team to 105 going to win this game, Jay. And I think it's going to be hard for both teams to get there. So I would look towards the under. Nothing official that I played, but that would be my favorite look in this game. I don't want to back the Nets on the road. I want to see a little bit more from them, Jay. And I definitely can't back Chicago at all. If we do get Ben Simmons in, I know he's supposed to be out of the rotation. If we get Ben Simmons in, I've been doing a little sprinkle on his PRA under every single game, Jay, because he only getting about 2, 3, and 3. So I got to keep going there because that he been paying some of my bills with taking his PRA under, Jay. So that's something else that I'll be looking at.
And over on his fouls too. Over on his turnovers too, man. If his ass playing this one, man, that's crazy, man. I got this our guy ChrisBeCappin, man, from Twitter, man. So if y'all want, that's his Twitter name right there. If you want to go follow him on Twitter, it's my guy right here, man. But yeah, these are two teams that I'm not in the hurry to back neither one of these teams. I actually want to find spots to fade the Bulls, and honest with you, I don't think the Nets are a clear fade like the Bulls are. Like I say, this is in theory a spot where the Bulls probably should get the win at the house. And another thing, when you have, they're saying Bulls, Ben Simmons just got ruled out. But when you have a team, it's the same thing with the Bucks. They won 12 straight right before the break. So I think their break is going to literally break up their win streak. But you got to look at things from the other side of the spectrum as well. If you lost 6 straight going into the break, in theory, you wanted that break to come. So it's almost like you get to reset. It could be the exact opposite to where, okay, we lost it. Now it's our chance to get back onto the winning streak here. So I actually lean the Bulls here minus the 2, as much as it pains me to say that. Are 0-6 straight up in ATS last 6 games. I actually would be surprised if the Bulls didn't win this game. Nets will probably, if we do want to back them, it's probably at the house when they get their home crowd about them. On the road, they don't have a point guard. They don't really have a true center as well. Claxton, after that stellar play, has really took a decline in his play, and you just foul him every time. And he's going at least, he's going at the worst, at the best 1 for 1 at the free throw line, but likely 0-2. But yeah, that Nets team is really actually a stacked defensive. They're a stacked defensive squad, and they don't have a point guard, really. Definitely not a pass-first point guard. So this game probably does go under there, Chris. I lean Bulls there. Bulls in the under, man. Last game up, Chris. We're going to the barbershop real quick. We got the Clippers here, land 7 points. It was at 6.5 last night. It's up to 7 here versus the Kings in this one here. Kings seem like a trendy dog, in my opinion, Chris. I will be finding spots to fade the Kings in the second half of the season, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think it starts tonight. I don't like that Russell Westbrook is starting here, but regardless, I think the Clippers get the win. I think they smack up the Kings. You literally, what you do want to see Westbrook is drop into the paint every single time.
Yeah, Jay, I think so. So the Kings, came out the gate a little sloppy last night to the shorthanded Portland Trailblazers at home, with no Jeremy Grant and Damian Lillard, while they just, making rap songs on the plane and then decided not to play. So,
right.
So I mean, it's crazy, Jay. But you look at this Clippers team. They've been balling, man. And what's really important for the Clippers, it really, it doesn't matter as much about everything else. If they got PG and Kawhi on the floor, that's when you typically want to put your money on them. I do think, it's some substance to fading the Kings in this spot. Their starters didn't play heavy minutes last night, but to me, it just kind of, it feels like a Clippers spot. I didn't play it, Jay, but, one of the things I looked at was, how the Clippers do. I always talk about PG and Kawhi being in because the Clippers have been, a tale of 2 teams this year. And they're getting hot right now, being that they're getting everybody kind of healthy. The Clippers are 2-0 straight up and against the spread when they're playing a team on the second leg of a back-to-back with both PG and Kawhi in. And they're winning those games by double digits. So I think there's some substance there. But I kind of want to wait and see, Jay. Like, I just want to – I'm cool with not putting any money on the Clippers tonight and just kind of seeing how they play, because I want to see how they play with Zubac out, with Plumlee in, with Westbrook there. We still got, a guy like Bones Highland getting adjusted to the offense. And, of course, PG and Kawhi going to do their thing. So I'm going to sit this one out tonight, Jay, but I do think the Clippers are the right side in this one.
Yeah, who else did they add? They added one more player off the bench as well. It's blanking me right now. They got Plumlee. They got Plumlee. It doesn't really matter. I like the Clippers here regardless, to be honest with you. It's Bones Highland, Plumlee. It was one more, Chris. Who we missing, bro?
I gotta figure it out, bro.
Where's the fuck? No, because I got this thing to where I look at the lineups. It's gonna tell you everybody on the lineup. Just
Eric Gordon. That's who it was, Jay.
Eric Gordon. Uh-huh. And they go and all of them. They gonna need. The Clippers were already nice, guys. They really just revamped their whole roster, actually, because they were basically an all defensive team, other than Kawhi and PG. Like they had zero offense other than those two. Now you got some guys who literally can create their own shot, guys. This is key, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Clippers go to the Western Conference Finals, guys. I think that the Clippers are that good. Now, we hadn't really saw. Remember, we were betting these Clippers, like we were betting them early in the season, losing money. I said the Clippers will get our money back, guys, when they start playing hard, start really locking in for the playoffs. I think from here until like the playoffs, in the playoffs, the Clippers will get our money back in this one, guys. And I think they come out here and smack the Kings up. Kings are not on the same level as the Clippers. People might think that they are. I like that people are really sold on the Kings. I like what the Kings have done. They're not the third best team in the Western Conference, guys. We got to be real with ourselves here. They did exceed expectations by a mile, in my opinion, over the first 3/4 of the season. So it's not a bad thing. The Kings are moving in the right direction, but you have to understand that they will decline here over the rest of the season. It starts tonight. You cannot even see it as well. Last night they started out 19-4 versus that trash ass Blazers team. So it's just kind of a little snapshot. They did end up winning the game in blowout. That was after the Blazers' dead legs start to set in, though. I think the Kings get smacked up here. Only thing working well for the Kings is that they have a game up under their belt here, and that the Clippers could be a little rusty. But really, all the Clippers have to do, don't stop shooting so many jump shots and get downhill into the to the paint. That's why they got Russell Westbrook right now, because no one else wants to drive to the paint. Westbrook will do that. I wouldn't be surprised if Westbrook got a triple-double in this one, man. I do like the Clippers in this one. I think they smashed the Kings tonight by double digits. Last time they faced off against them, they lost by basically 30 points. It's time to set the Kings back into their place, in my opinion, man. You know how it is. Chris was like, "Are you kids? You stay in the kids' place." That's what the Kings and the Clippers are. They having a grown-up conversation right now, and they're like, "Kid, you go outside and play right now. We grown-ups in here drinking and smoking right now." That's the Clippers and the Kings right now, my guys. So that's what I'm liking in this one, Chris. Let's get out of here, man. We've been on here 40 minutes, my brother. Let the people know where they can find you at, anything to promote, and your picks on today's card, my guy.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. So first and foremost, man, as I always do when I come on the show, man, appreciate you, for having me. Always willing to do the show with you whenever I get a chance. And you guys can find all my work on Twitter, man, at ChrisBeCappin. Like Jay said, 2 P's, 2 N's. I do a morning show in the morning at 7 a.m. I know you do your evening show, your late show, Jay, but I do mine in the morning, 7 a.m., breaking in the card, giving out my best bets before the lines move. And it actually came into play yesterday with OKC. If you got the +2, you cash, but if you didn't, then you didn't cash because they ended up losing the game. But also doing a 5:30 Eastern time NBA Twitter Spaces as well. That's available over on Twitter and on YouTube as well. So it's not just myself, but I get the community together, and we all try to find different angles, just like you do, Jay. People drop their plays in the chat, but I just give people a chance to kind of speak about their play, why they like it, right? So it's a platform that kind of help other people grow. Just like you, Jay, because you got a platform where you help other people grow, and you let handicappers come on, that know what they talk about, and do a show with you as well. So that's where you can find all my work at there. As far as today, top look of the day, I really like that under, Jay. Going back to the Charlotte and the Minnesota Timberwolves under 241. I really think Charlotte doesn't hit their team total today, but I'm gonna play the full game under. Probably gonna play the team total under as well. But that's the top look of the day for me as well, Jay. Really like that spot. If I'm leaving, the audience with anything, that's what I'm leaving it with, because I really like that spot a lot today.
I like it. And I'll ride with you, man. It's actually a lot to like on tonight's card, my guys. As I always say, it's Us Against The Bookies. Make sure y'all following my guy Chris on Twitter, YouTube as well, man. He does Twitter Spaces. If you ever want to go check that out, you can hop in. He basically lets everybody up to talk. Man, as long as you're not on no BS, see what I'm saying? It's all business. We all trying to get some cash here together. For me today, man, best bet. I'll take the Heat +5. If you watched the earlier show, +2 is still cool. I think the Heat will win this game. So I'm not gonna go as far as say to play the money line. Obviously, I only talk about the current spreads anyway. So if the Heat were -2, that's what I'd be giving them out at. It doesn't matter what it was previous. It's about right now. So Heat +5, that's my favorite game of the day. I also think the Knicks +1 get it done. Heavily lean to the Hawks in the full game -1, and their team total over. Team total over probably be a little bit better. Like I said, I already said Heat +5, and they would also lean Heat in the first half as well. Leaning Wolves -7. It's up to 7 now, Chris. Them 6.5's gone everywhere. I lean the under there with you, and that Charlotte Hornets team total under 117. I do not see the Hornets getting past 110 points, in my opinion, tonight, man. Team that likes to shoot threes, probably coming off a long extended vacation. I think they're probably still a little drunk in this one. Lean the Suns full game as well. I did just do a Clippers Suns money line parlay, so I didn't lay the points with them, but I do think the Suns are the right side. Lean Warriors first quarter, lean the Bulls full game -2, and also heavy lean to the Clippers -6.5, -7. I fully believe the Clippers are right side. That's damn near a play. Clippers -6.5, guys. But Clippers and Suns money line parlay, I think that's cash right there. And also wouldn't talk you off making the Wolves money line parlay as well. I think that's cash as well, man. So I can't. It's hard for me to suggest money line parlays, but when you're going up against a tanking team with the team that has something to play for, I think it's a good play, guys. I do think it's a good play, man. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you like the show, man, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel as well. Also, wouldn't talk you off, join the channel as a member, guys. It's Us Against the Bookies. Let's get some cash. We will win, man. Triple double lifestyle. We out.